Okay, so this is the warm up for today. I apologize for my voice. So this is going to be a little bit quiet. I'm going to try to do this as best as I can. Um, so your warm up today consists of two problems, two summation problems. Obviously, this is the first way we talked about summation with the symbol sigma, and then the other summation type where you just use S and S of 75. So this is going to ask you to add up all, with this notation here, you're going to, the bottom number says you're going to start at the first term. The top number says you're going to go to the 24th term. So essentially you want to find the sum of the first 24 terms of this expression. And I'll go over, just as a reminder, how to do this type of problem. And then this is what we talked about last class with summation, where you're given a sequence like this, and then it asks you to find the sum of 75. What this means is you're going to find the sum of the first 75 terms of this sequence. And so we'll go over each example. With this example, so I apologize, I scratched it out there. It's a minus sign, so it's 5k minus 2. And so there is a minus sign there. It should be the same on the board. So remember what we do here when you have multiple terms in a sum, you have to actually split this so that you have the sum, and I'm just going to put the top number on there, the sum of 5k minus the sum of 2, the term 2, So, and if you remember right, there were formulas for this, and these formulas should be on the board. But there is a constant sum, there's a linear sum, and then there was a quadratic sum. Before we get to that, there's something we can do with the 5. The 5, because it is a coefficient, can actually be bumped out to the outside. So then you'll have 5 on the outside here. The formula for a linear is, I'll do parentheses there, n times n plus 1 over 2. And so the n, the n is the number of terms that you're going to go to. So since our n is 24, that's the n's the number on top of the sigma is 24. I'm going to replace 24 in there. So I have 5 parentheses 24 times 24 plus 1 all over 2. I'm going to need a calculator, but 24 plus 1 is 25. And so you have 24 times 25 divided by 2 and then times by 5. And so what ends up happening here is the summation of that first part is 1500. The minus sign will carry its way down, and then you have the constant. The formula for the constant is just whatever the constant is times n. So essentially just this number times this number. So 24 times 2 is 48. So when we do 1500 minus 48, you get 1452. And that would be your answer. Okay. Now the other type of sum that we did is a little bit different in that there's not this sort of sigma use and all that stuff, but there is a different way of going about a sum when it looks like this. So if you remember from last class, in order to find the sum of any arithmetic sequence, you need the first term and you need the last term. And the formula again should be on the board for this. But the problem is I'm only given the first term. I don't know the final term. The dot tends the dot, dot, dot. So what you had to do, since we are missing the last term, we have a formula that allows us to find any term in a sequence, and that is the arithmetic sequence formula. So the first thing we're going to do is use the arithmetic sequence to find the last term. Since it says to find S of 75, that tells us that there are 75 terms, and that N is 75. So when I go to use the formula for an arithmetic sequence, I'm looking for the 75th term, so A sub 75. And then the first term is negative 3 plus N is 75. I'm just using the formula that's on the board for arithmetic sequence. N is 75 minus 1 times the common difference. The common difference we didn't find yet, but you could figure it out since you're given the sequence. If I add 4 every time, it looks like I'm adding 4 every time, so my D is 4. And then I just use, just do a little bit of math here. 75 minus 1 is 74. 74 times 4 is 296. So I have negative 3 plus 296. And then when I combine those, I get that the 75th term is 293. So now I have the first term and the last term, and I can use the summation formula. The summation formula, or S of 75, it's on the board, but it's N and then A sub 1 plus A sub N, the first term plus the last term divided by 2. N is the same N that's here, so it's 75. First term is negative 3 plus the last term, which is 293 over 2. So the sum of the first, and I can't, sorry, I lost you guys down here. We found the last term to be 293. Here's the summation formula, first term plus last term divided by 2, times by the number of terms. I put in the first term, I put in the last term, divided by 2, and the number of terms is 75. So if I do negative 3 plus 293 is 290. 290 divided by 2 is 145. And then we multiply that by 75. We get 10,875. So that is how you do a summation in both different types. You will see each of those types on today's quiz. Thanks.